Hello, everyone, and welcome to WinCat Sports. Today, we're doing our Lions pregame against the Ravens. Ravens are still favorited in this game as of Friday when we're recording this. 53% chance that they are going to win. They're 3-point favorites, likely due to the fact that we are pretty banged up on the running back side of things going into this game.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think we both had them losing this game in our preseason picks. But if the Lions were healthy at running back, I think we both agree that we think they'd probably win this game. Um, it's going to be Goff again, heavily on Goff, and he's a better passer than
Yeah,
Lamar, but it's all dependent. If we can control, if our defense can do the job again, like they did in Tampa, and keep Lamar's running under control and keep them, because then I think we still have a really good chance to win the game. So we are really banged up right now, and it would be. I mean, winning this game would be a huge feather in their cap.
yeah,
Because I think they're still going to beat Las Vegas. I mean, they should beat them on
they should.
Monday night. So they could go into the break 7-1 if they win on Sunday. But 6-2 would not be bad either.
No. So when it comes to these stats, to win this game, your defense is going to have to be how they've been all year. You have a number one run defense. So actually going into this game, with that and no real big injuries on the defense coming into the game might be what's going to save you if you are going to win. Passing leaders, of course, your quarterbacks are going to be your passing leaders. Jared Goff so far this year, 141 out of 203 for 1,600 yards, 11 TDs, 3 interceptions. So doing pretty good through 6 games. Lamar Jackson, 121 for 173, 1,200 yards, 5 TDs for 3 interceptions. So he's not throwing that much because that leads into him currently being the leading rusher for the Ravens
That's
for the
pretty
year
crazy, right?
because
So
they also have lost their running backs throughout the season. So they also are struggling on that front. Um, so in total, Lamar Jackson does have 9 TDs. For them are rushing. He has rushed for only 327 yards so far this year through 60 carries. And like I said, if you are going to be stopping the Ravens, it's probably going to come down to that run defense, making sure you're making Lamar throw the ball.
which is so far playing into our hands because we have a very good run defense. So that's going to be the task, and that's a pretty simple game plan. You stop the run, and hopefully Lamar can't beat you with his arm, which he hasn't been able to do lately. So I think that's we have a reasonable chance to win. 53%. That's basically just saying 50-50. Um, I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the run game. I've heard everything from Khalif Raymond playing some running back,
Yes,
and
Raymond has a. They might have St. Brown. I wouldn't be
St.
surprised.
Brown playing
I
running
wouldn't be
back.
surprised if JMO does.
JMO, yeah. I mean,
If they just rotate wide receivers to randomly run the ball, run a little bit more, I would not expect any straightforward running down the field if they're going to still try to rush the ball as much as they are. It's going to be a lot more east-west trying to get to the outside
right.
more than down the middle.
You can provide JMO with a hole to run through. He might just hit it and go. Any of those guys can do that. I certainly think St. Brown. It's just they're not quite the size of a running back, so
Well, that's why I said
you
to be
don't want to
going
get
to
them
the
banged up
outside.
too much. So I'm hoping that Reynolds will still will at least be back. I honestly, if they don't think Gibbs is 100%, I wouldn't play him.
I think he's made progress. I think he's expected to play this week, from what I've heard. Dan Campbell did say he was doing pretty good. Along with Branch, he should be back this week too, so that helps your secondary. Those are the two that I've heard should be good this week. Like I said, as of now, though, we don't fully know what's going on. I'm pretty sure both are questionable.
Right.
I don't know if Craig Reynolds is going to be good enough with his hamstring injury. He might be good to go. I don't know how severe it is. I haven't really heard too much about
If
that
they could
either.
limp through this, I'd rather have him for the Las Vegas game and make sure we win that one. And if we can't pull this one out Sunday, I'm not going to be too upset. I understand the situation they're in, but it's going to be heavily on Goff's arm and the passing game with a sprinkle of weird, and I'm sure Ben Johnson's going to develop a game plan where he can use a multiple wide receivers in the running back slot, which will be fun. It'll be interesting. So we'll see what happens.
The two you should not expect to see 100% will be Jonah Jackson and David Montgomery because they did not practice Thursday. I don't think they practiced today. But Brian Branch was in limited practice yesterday. Gibbs was in limited practice. Laporta is still working through that calf injury he had last week. He was limited yesterday. Pascal actually practiced yesterday.
Good.
So he is back on track.
I'm looking, like I
And
said,
Craig Reynolds, he did practice
if
yesterday.
we
So
can
it's not
win,
impossible that any of these guys play. It's just where they feel comfortable or not.
if we could just win one of the next two games without bringing these guys back until they're really ready, and we got that break, and then come out of that break as healthy as possible, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I certainly think we can beat Las Vegas with the team we got now. It's whether or not, like I said, I don't want to see Montgomery. He's not going to play, but I mean, I don't want to see Gibbs hurt any more than what he is, or Branch, or any. I want these guys healthy for the stretch run.
So one thing that might favor the Lions kind of in a passing game is that the secondary for the Ravens is banged up. They have three players that did not practice on Thursday. Darby, Seymour, and Williams, two cornerbacks and a safety.
Right.
So passing wise, that might open up a little bit if your O line can hold a really, really good Ravens defense long enough to give Goff his time, because that play action might not be as good now since you're not trying to run it down their throat as much as you would when you're trying to go more outside all the time.
As injuries go, though, Baltimore's probably one of the healthiest teams in the league, so they're really not missing much.
No, the only people who did not practice were those three, and there was Brent Urban was the only other one on offensive end who was limited in practice. Everyone else, there's only basically 4 injuries on the Ravens roster. Like I said, all our injuries are actually on one side of the ball, and it is all offense. The only injury on defense is Brian Branch, and he is healthy this week. He should be playing. Besides the fact Mosley tore his ACL and Jackson's out, or
Right.
Garner Johnson's out with his torn bicep. Regardless of that, you have no injuries on the defense whatsoever. So your defense is completely healthy, which is a
We're gonna need that.
good spot. Another spot they're going to have to kind of keep an eye on for wide receivers. Zay Flowers is their top wide receiver, so they're going to have to be keeping him in check. Of course, St. Brown is our top receiver, already 500 yards this year and 3 TDs. Zay Flowers has 367 yards and an ATD so far this year. So he's the one that has been getting the ball the most. So he's probably who you got to keep your eye on top of their tight end, Mark Andrews. But I hope he gets plenty of yardage because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't think if they beat us by Lamar's arm, then so be it. As long as we can stop the run, I think we got a really good chance to win the game, though.
Yeah,
and it's just obvious.
So in my opinion, this game is going to be very close. It's not. It's probably going to be like a field goal to a touchdown difference. I don't know if the Lions will pull this one out just because of the running back injuries, but I'm going to say they will win. It's going to be more of a very low scoring game. I'm going to say like 17-14.
I'm gonna, I of course my heart wants to pick the Lions, but I'm gonna say they're not going to win this one. I think that it'll be close, 24-21 Baltimore.
Which is expected. It's going to be close regardless, I think, because the defenses it's going to be a game like Tampa. The defenses are going to take over. The only way you're going to get away is if you randomly go on a quick run one quarter and you just hold it. Because that's what happened in Tampa.
It's going to be a lot like Tampa. This is going to be a lot on the defense to keep Lamar Jackson in check, and it's going to rely on Goff's arm, to get us some points. And Riley Patterson's got to be on his game probably today.
Yes.
This weekend. They got to get any points they can.
Yeah, all the points will matter. Hopefully we don't lose again to a record-breaking field goal.
Yeah.
And we don't have to deal with it. But every game we've played against Baltimore, regardless of the year, it's always been close. As much as I can remember, every game against Baltimore has been a decent game. It's been close.
It'll be
regardless of how good the Lions have been, and regardless of how good the Ravens have been. So this will be a good game
it'll be
on
fun.
Sunday. With that being said, though, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Until next time, hope to see everybody soon.